Good morning and welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. And you can find a different command of Jesus at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church. And if this is meaningful to you, it really would mean a lot to me and helps if you like it, if you share it on social media. It just helps us to get the word out about what Jesus said, which is how Jesus told us to go and make disciples. So that's the only reason why we do these, to remind us of what Jesus said. It'll be a soundbite version of a teaching or example that Jesus gave. Today, Jesus said, worship God the right way. This comes from John 4:23 through 24, where he's talking to the woman at the well. He says, but the time is coming, indeed, it's here now, when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. The Father is looking for those who will worship him that way, for God is spirit. So those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. Now, Jesus was giving this teaching and this command to the woman at the well, who was a Samaritan, and they had the same God, but a very different way of worshiping. And she was questioning how this whole Messiah thing works and what worship was going to be like for them, because they didn't have the same access as the Jews had. And Jesus said this, which would have been very different for the culture in that time period, saying that the ordinary person could worship the Father in spirit and in truth, because their understanding of worship had everything to do with ritual, which there was nothing wrong with the ritual. It was supposed to be a symbol of Messiah and pointing to the real relationship that we're to have with God. But somehow they had missed the point and were focused so much on the responsibilities of keeping the ritual that they missed the relationship that comes with worshiping God in spirit and in truth. Understanding this worship concept in an Eastern mindset, worship was a form of reverence among the Eastern culture. In the Persians, for instance, used this word to mean to fall on the knees and touch the ground with the forehead as an expression of profound reverence. And many times we see this word worship used in the New Testament to make obeisance, to really fall down prostrate in front of someone in order to express respect or to obey them. We were in Austin this week for the birth of our grandbaby, and I had to also take care of the granddog, which is not normally my thing. And he went into a room that he wasn't supposed to go into, and I went in there and I told him no, and he kind of worshipped me. I mean, he fell down on the ground and turned upside down, just waiting. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? That's the kind of worship that Jesus said gets us into right relationship with God. That kind of, I'm willing to give up everything worship in spirit and in truth. Well, what is spirit? Jesus, talking to Nicodemus in John 3, said, what is born of flesh is flesh, and what is born of spirit is spirit. So basically, if you can see it, if you can touch it, if it's physical, it's not spirit. The spirit influences the physical, but spirit is very different. So we must worship him in things we can't see, in things we don't understand, in things that are beyond our grasp, but also in truth. It's not just knowledge. Truth, especially in the context of who Jesus was talking to, meant acting on what you know. Worshiping in spirit and in truth. The two must meet. Jesus told his disciples who couldn't stay awake the night before he was crucified. He told them in Matthew 26:41 to keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. So we must worship. We must be willing to give up everything. Jesus said to deny ourselves to follow him. Worshiping in spirit, in those things eternal, in those things that we can't see, but also in truth, in the physical realm. Are we really worshiping God? Are we submitting to his will in every part of our lives? Are we falling down and kissing the ground because we want to do what the Father wants? See, that's true worship. It's not just singing songs once a week, gathering together. Worshiping in spirit and in truth is an everyday, all the time experience that only Jesus gives us access to. Jesus said, worship God the right way. Worship him in spirit and in truth. How can we put that into action today?